Welcome back. In this chapter, we're going to build out our dashboard view. We're going to start with the widgets we need to deliver the reporting needs of management. As a refresher of what management was specifically looking to see, they were wanting to see the following metrics: the number of tasks in each phase of the project, the project's progress, the timelines and milestones, the different budgets, and a countdown until the project end date. Hopping back into my Monday account, here's the board that we built out from the previous chapter. Now, let's go ahead and add in our dashboard view. I'm going to go ahead and rename our dashboard, our reports. Okay. In Chapter 3, we touched briefly on some of the common widgets to use in a dashboard and how they can represent the data. One of the widgets we touched on was our battery widget. Since management is looking to see the progress of the tasks, I can add this widget and it will show the percentage breakdown of all the tasks based on their status. Going back into our board, our status column is where this battery widget is pulling the data from. So it was crucial that we had this column included within our board. I'm going to go ahead and rename this the project progress. So now management can see in a visual way how much has been completed and how much still needs to be done overall as a project. You can also click into any of the parts of the battery to see the specific tasks in each of those statuses. Now, management also wanted to see the number of tasks in each phase of the project. Going back into our board, we made the phases the groups and the tasks the items. So we need a widget that will be able to showcase the different groups and count how many items are in each of the groups or phases. Our chart widget is going to be a great option for this. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a chart widget to our dashboard. And from here, I'm going to adjust the settings. So it defaults when you add the chart widget to being a bar chart, and this is actually the chart that I want to use so that I can see the different phases or groups in a side-by-side comparison. I do, however, need to adjust the x-axis to show me the group and the y-axis to make sure that it is counting the items. Then I can go ahead and rename this chart to being in our tasks per phase. Now, I knew that I could use the chart widget to count the items in groups, which is why I chose to structure the board with the groups as the phases. As you can see, there is some knowledge related to the widgets themselves and the settings offered, which allows you to make such decisions. However, the more you practice and build out reports, the more intuitive it will become with regards to choosing structures to suit your reporting needs. So now we have a clear visual of how many tasks are in each phase, which can help us in making sure we have enough resources available throughout the project. Management was also interested in seeing the timelines and milestones to stay on top of the project delivery date. Now, looking back in our board, to show this, we are going to use the timeline column that we added because it shows the range of dates for each of our tasks. In our dashboard, we can use the Gantt widget to show the dates along with the milestones in a clear and visual way. From here, I can adjust the settings to make sure that it is showing me the correct timeline column If I wanted to include the due date for each of them, I could also include that as well. Within the Gantt chart, you can also choose to show the critical path if you are working with dependencies or any baselines. You can adjust what the labels are for each of the items. For me, I'm going to keep it as the item name, but if you wanted to show it as something different, you could. And our group by setting is by the different phases, which is exactly what management is looking to see. Going to go ahead and rename this our timelines and milestones. If you want to learn more about this feature, you can navigate to the question mark in the bottom left corner of your screen, which will open up our Help Center. And from here, you can search Gantt. This will pull up all of the resources that we have created and how to use them. Now, moving on to our budgets. Looking back at our board, we included multiple numbers columns and a formula column to showcase the different values for the tasks. On our dashboard, I want to add a widget that will show the planned, the actual, and how much of our budget is left to spend. Since management wants to see these amounts as one sum across the project, we want to use our numbers widget, which will pull the data from each of the numbers and formula columns they're attached to. To show this, I'm going to need to show 3 different numbers widgets. So I can go ahead and duplicate 3 times or twice and start adjusting the widget to show the planned budget. I'm actually going to call it the total planned budget, the total actual budget, and the total budget that is left. So now I can go into the settings and start adjusting them. So right now this is pulling in our planned budget, which is what we want. And then under more settings, here's where I can change the unit. For us, I'm going to show it in dollar signs. You could change the unit to anything you need, as well as the function to show the average, median, minimum, maximum, or just to simply count the items. You can also choose to add in decimal points. Okay. And I'm just going to do the same with each of these numbers columns. Going to adjust which column it's pulling from and adjust our settings. So now management can see the different budgets in a clear and visual way. Along the lines of budgets, since management wanted a clear way to see the plan versus actual budget on a task level, not just a total level, I want to use those same numbers columns and formula columns back on our board to be able to showcase these different values. To do this, I can use a chart widget to show the side-by-side comparison. Now that I have the bar chart selected, I'm going to change the x-axis to show me the name so that I can see the task, and the y-axis to show me the planned budget, the actual budget, and if we are over or under our budget from that formula column. Now, as a pro tip, if this is too much information and it's too small to read, what you can do is you can create multiple charts, but only pull in data from certain groups to make it a little bit easier to understand. So for example, if I only want to show the phase 1 and 2 budget breakdown, then I can remove phases 3 and 4, the additional 2 groups, from this specific widget. And now it's a little bit easier to read. To make it seamless, I can go ahead and just duplicate this widget and adjust it so that this one will show me phase 3 and phase 4. Then go back into the settings to choose those groups and remove phase 1 and 2. So now I have 2 chart widgets showing me the same data but from different sets of groups on the board, so nothing is duplicated. Lastly, management needs to know how many days are left until the office opens. So looking back at our board, we can use the date column and locate the task for when the office launch is going to happen, which for us is going to be February 6th of 2023. We'll use this date in our countdown widget to show how many days are left until the office opens. Since we still have a few months to go, I'm going to go ahead and select to see the months, weeks, and days, but remove the hours, minutes, and seconds. Now, as we get closer to our opening date, I can adjust these settings to where it shows me the hours, minutes, seconds, days, etc. And I'm going to go ahead and readjust the title. So now that we have all of management needs added to the dashboard with the different widgets, we can go ahead and adjust the widgets by dragging and dropping them in a way that would make it easier for management to read. So for example, if budgets are a top priority, maybe move those numbers and chart widgets that relate to the budget towards the top. You can also adjust the widget size by dragging and dropping the bottom right corner to make sure that everything fits nice and neatly. Okay, so now I've organized the widgets in a way that makes sense for management, starting with our budgets and working our way down into our timeline. Now that we have all the widgets to showcase the metrics, join me in the next chapter so that we can see how we add in our widgets for myself as a team lead.